Frieza has arrived on Earth, and it seemed like it would be a straightforward battle at first, until Frieza ended up killing Paragus, causing Broly to transform, turning Super Saiyan. Now he's unstoppable, not just for Frieza, but for everybody else. He's a berserk monster. What are they going to do now? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 6 of What If Bardock went Super Saiyan against Frieza. Goku looks on in complete disbelief. He feared this. Broly's going to be unstoppable. It took so much just to control his wrathful form, and now he's Super Saiyan. Frieza's utterly terrified, but he tries to laugh it off. Look at that monkey. He can't even control his strength. All he has to do is get off this planet, and he'll let Broly just kill everybody else. Frieza rockets off into the atmosphere, but Goku teleports right above him, kicking him down to the ground. He can't believe that idiot. He tells Frieza his demise is just going to be even slower now. Broly has no reasoning. And sure, this is a bad thing for everybody else, but this doesn't mean Frieza's just going to escape here. And as Frieza props himself up, Broly then launches right towards him, which surprises Goku too. He's definitely berserk right now, but it looks like he knows to target Frieza at least. This is still really bad. He flies over to the humans and Piccolo. He says they should get out of here, especially Piccolo, because if he dies, the Dragon Balls are gone and then they're really screwed. Piccolo, Chaozu, and Yamcha decide to leave, and Piccolo says he hopes Goku has some sort of plan for this. He knew that Broly guy was trouble. Even with all the training he's done, he's too dangerous to be on this planet, but Goku says he's got this under control. Ten and Krillin can help out too. Ten even offers to do fusion with Goku. They both know the fusion dance, and unlike with Krillin, they're close to each other in height. Goku will have to lower his power for now, but fusion probably still will work. The two try and perform the fusion dance, but right in the middle of it, ki blasts come out of Broly from every direction, almost hitting the three of his friends on the ground. They barely make it out of the way in time. If one of those blasts hit them, it probably would have killed them easily, especially with Goku powered down at the moment. Goku instantly goes Super Saiyan again. They can't risk that. As Broly continues firing more attacks, not just at Frieza but at everyone now. Goku wonders if Broly at least had a little bit of control before but now has lost that. It seems like that might be the case. Krillin has an idea though. He says he and Ten can just multiply themselves once more. They could distract Broly, and they're not sure if a fusion between Goku and Ten will work, but they know that maybe Goku can find some way to calm Broly down, especially since Goku thinks that if Broly sees his face, maybe that will help. Ten and Krillin start multiplying once more. They say they're also going to try some Force Spirit Fission. They've never used it to drain energy. They don't even know if that's really possible with it, especially since it's usually used against fusions and absorptions. But they can at least try that. Maybe it can weaken Broly just a little bit. All the clones launch in at Broly, trying to use this even if it's not possible. Maybe they can at least remove some of his power, and that way it'll tire him out. Goku's obviously the main powerhouse here. Frieza's being manhandled by Broly at the moment. He can't do anything. He has no opening to attack or escape. Broly's just far too fast and powerful for him. But then Goku teleports in front of Broly, with a couple clones of Krillin and Ten teleporting around him as well, hitting him and trying to use Force Spirit Fission. And it kinda works, but Broly's power keeps growing as he fights. So it's really just canceling out his growth. It does remove a little bit of strength, but he just gets it back anyways. Well, at the very least, this slows him down a bit. Broly then swipes a hand at Goku trying to grab him. Goku teleports out of the way in the nick of time. Broly makes contact with Frieza instead, grabbing his entire body in one hand, swinging him around midair, and then launching him back down to the surface at incredible speeds, as Broly then yells, launching a blast for his mouth too. That kinda terrifies Goku because if he was caught in that, he'd probably be dead by now. He's amazed at how durable Frieza is, but he yells out to Broly once more. He has to do anything he can to calm him down. He knows how to do this, at least with Wrathful, but this is different. He doesn't know if he can get Broly to calm down in Super Saiyan, especially because Goku never unlocked Super Saiyan with anger. He knows the form can be derived from that, but he never felt it like that. He tries telling Broly too. They have the Dragon Balls. They could bring Paragus back to life. He's not dead for good. He just needs Broly to calm down because otherwise the whole planet will be gone, and then Paragus really can't be brought back. Goku keeps trying his best to calm Broly down, and eventually something gets through to him. Broly floats there and looks at Goku for a second, and then his hair falls down. He returns to his base form, and then falls to the ground unconscious. A mangled Frieza slowly floats up, shooting a death beam at the back of Goku's head. It knocks his head forward, but that's really all it does. Goku turns around with a look of anger and disappointment on his face. He simply tells Frieza he's lost. It's a shame. He expected a greater fighter. From what Bardock told him, he was an emperor. He was cruel and heartless, and Goku says that part was true, but he's also childish, and he's a dirty coward for doing that. He slowly floats down to Frieza. The Super Saiyan may have not defeated him before, but now it did. And not just that, but Frieza was the one to create the Super Saiyan. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. He caused Bardock to transform, which then caused Goku to get the form, and he directly caused Broly to go Super Saiyan as well. This should completely shatter his pride, and Goku just tells Frieza to go home, turning around and walking away back to his friends, picking up Broly as Krillin carries Paragus' body. Frieza's completely infuriated. He didn't lose here. He'll win. This battle still isn't over. That monkey shouldn't have dropped his guard. He charges all the ki that he has left, although it's not really much, and he fires at the seemingly unsuspecting Goku. But right as he fires the blast, a blast then hits him from behind. Goku obviously sensed this, teleporting behind Frieza instantly, and launching his own counterattack. It didn't have to be this way, but Frieza left him no choice. The Emperor falls, and nothing's left of him. Goku completely destroys Frieza, thus ending the cycle of fulfilling the prophecy that Frieza tried to prevent. The Dragon Balls are gathered soon after. Thankfully, there was really only just damage in a wasteland. Frieza and his army did no damage to the planet itself, and nobody died besides Paragus and Frieza. Broly's eventually healed up, calming down after hearing about the Dragon Balls. He knew about them because Goku had to have told him eventually, especially since they just spent a year together in the Room of Spirit and Time. He completely forgot. He was absorbed in the moment and apologizes for losing control. But Goku says it doesn't matter. It's Goku's fault for not expecting something like that. And he says Broly did a decent job at controlling it actually. At least for the first few seconds, he wasn't fully berserk with it. And not to mention, after seeing something like that, he's not surprised that Broly would go berserk. And this is great. It shows that Broly can use the Super Saiyan form, and it looks like that's what they're going to need to train for next. Shenron is summoned and Paragus is revived. He can't believe that he was brought back. After everything he's done, they were kind enough to actually bring him back. He really was wrong about Goku. The hospitality these Earthlings are showing, despite them being enemies at first. And now Paragus gets a second chance at life. Although it mainly was to appease Broly. But Goku can tell that Earth is kind of rubbing off on Paragus at least. He doesn't blame Paragus for being the way he is because he was wronged by pretty much everyone in his life. He's still a pretty terrible person, but at least for Broly's sake, Goku thinks it's good that he gets a second chance here. He did help stop Frieza after all, going along with Goku's plan originally. Well, now that Frieza's gone, that means there shouldn't be anything to worry about, right? Not exactly. Paragus does wonder if there's anybody else out there. He thinks some of the Frieza force is still around, and he does mention that King Cold is out there. But he also wonders if there's any other Saiyans out there too. I mean, if Goku survived, there probably are others, right? It couldn't just be these three. Honestly, Goku's not really too into it, especially because he knows the Saiyans aren't necessarily great people. But if Paragus wants to go find other Saiyans, he won't stop him. Although, now the concern is King Cold, but he shouldn't really be too much of a concern. They expect that he will show up eventually trying to avenge Frieza. They don't know when, or if he'll actually show up, but if he does end up showing, they'll be more than strong enough by then. Even right now, they're probably strong enough to take him on. But first, they should probably get Super Saiyan under control for Broly. A year or so passes. King Cold is eventually able to locate the planet that Frieza last was seen on, which is of course planet Earth. And during this time period, everyone is trying to prepare for that too. Mainly with Goku trying to teach Broly Super Saiyan. And spending some more time training Gohan as well because he hasn't really had much time for that. And it's not that he's neglecting that or anything, it's just that Gohan doesn't really have the same motivation to train here. It's nothing serious for him. They don't realize what great power Gohan has. No one does. The story just went so differently here that Gohan actually has a relatively normal life. At least way more normal than compared to what it was originally. One day though, King Cold does appear on Earth. A ship descends upon it, with Frieza's father stepping off, ready to fight. He's not necessarily here to avenge Frieza. He honestly couldn't really care that much about his death. He's more so just concerned about the Super Saiyan existing, because if Frieza died, it's probably because the Super Saiyan is real. But when he gets to Earth, nobody's waiting for him. The group actually doesn't know he's here yet. They sense him and they're coming over, but nobody's there. But King Cold does see one person waiting around. He doesn't know what the Super Saiyan looks like or who he is. But there's a fighter in orange standing there. King Cold can tell that he's a Saiyan, asking if he was the one to defeat his son. The man replies that it actually wasn't him. His father was actually the one to defeat Frieza, so it's only fitting that he, the son of Goku, is the one to defeat King Cold, the father of Frieza. Wait, does that mean there's more Saiyans here? Who is this guy supposed to be? King Cold tries to power up, but it's already too late. Before he could do anything, the man lunges an arm right through him, powered up into Super Saiyan, launching a blast to eradicate King Cold, and then quickly powering back down. Well, that's one thing out of the way. The rest of our group then flies over, seeing a spaceship with nobody around except for one person wearing the same gi as Goku. Who is this? They assume he's an ally because he's wearing the Turtle School gi, but they have no clue who he is. Although, he does look familiar. Kinda like Goku, but more so like Gohan if anything. And they sense a spike in power as well. Krillin then nudges Goku. Did he happen to have a son a while ago? Like, one that nobody knows about? No, he'd never do that. He has no clue who this guy is. Besides, that wouldn't even make sense because this guy also looks kinda older. Actually, he looks close to Goku's age, if anything. And for a second he thinks, wait, maybe this is the brother that Bardock mentioned, but no, he remembers that he's actually dead, so he's out of guesses then. The fighter introduces himself. It's Gohan. The same one they know, but from the future. So he is Gohan, that's why he looked so similar. But they're still so confused. Why is there a Gohan from the future here? Gohan's glad to see everyone again, and obviously he doesn't need to hide his identity. He explains he's from a timeline where things went very bad. Things have started to get better recently, but he's trying to fix something bad that happened in the past. Originally, Broly was the one to kill King Cold, and not long after that, he and Paragus departed Earth. Broly actually did get a control in Super Saiyan by now, and because of that, they were comfortable with leaving. Paragus wanted to go on his journey to find other Saiyans, just out of curiosity, bringing Broly along with him. He was paranoid about any other threats out there, so they were completely removed from Earth now. The reason Gohan mentioned this is because right after, Goku died from the heart virus. To make things worse, a new threat appeared on Earth, the androids. Everyone tried to fight against them, but no one could do anything. Had Goku been alive, or had Broly been around, the androids would have been no problem. Krillin and Ten tried their best, and they were the last line of defense. But all the androids needed to do was take out one of them, and then they could focus on the other. And just like that, Earth's strongest fighters were dead. Even Piccolo of all people tried to help out. But of course, he was no match for the androids. The Dragon Balls are gone too. Gohan took up training, trying to defend the people that were left. While he wasn't that strong of a fighter, this event caused him to unlock Super Saiyan, and only then did he realize his great potential. He thought that maybe he'd have to be the one to defeat the androids, wanting to avenge Goku, Krillin, and all his other friends that have died. But Gohan still had that doubt in his mind. He'd barely trained before, he didn't have much experience, and while he did have great potential, he couldn't really make use of it, especially in a world like this, a world where he was alone. But thankfully, he was saved. Years later, Broly and Paragus finally returned, and the second Broly saw there was a threat here, he eliminated the androids like it was nothing, fuming at the death of his friend Goku, and surprised to see that Gohan was the only one left. It made Gohan feel weak. He couldn't do anything against these androids. He needed Broly to bail him out. And what would have happened if he never actually came back? He's grateful for Broly's help, but he felt bad because he couldn't do anything to defend his friends. Everyone is gone. The only fighters left are him and Broly. Granted, some other people are still alive. Thankfully, some people like Chi-Chi, Bulma, Orochi, and others survived. But still, so many died against the androids. Gohan was ashamed at his failure, but he saw an opportunity to make up for it. Bulma built a time machine. And with this, he went back to the past. This is all in an attempt to cure Goku of the heart virus, and also warn them of the androids. And that leads him to where he is today. Goku's pretty surprised at all this information. He never took Gohan for much of a fighter, but it seems that when the need arises, he will step up. Maybe he should focus on trying to make sure this Gohan is strong too, the one from their timeline. But he tells his future son, he's glad how he turned out. And Goku says he's sure he could speak for his future self too. He probably would have said the exact same thing, especially seeing him as a Super Saiyan. And you know, it's kind of funny how it works out. Goku's biological father was the one to show him how to use Super Saiyan, and Goku then used that same power to defeat Frieza. Gohan tried to do the same thing with the androids, although granted, Gohan and Goku are much closer than Bardock and Goku ever were. But Goku says it looks like this family is destined to be full of Super Saiyans. And Gohan thanks him for that. He's glad to see that Goku's proud. But he hopes they heed his warning. He gives Goku the heart virus medicine too, and he says just in case, he'll return in a few years, wanting to make sure everything's done. With future Gohan returning to his home, looking forward to seeing them again. The group doesn't decide to fight the androids immediately though. Pretty much like normal. They're actually pretty confident here. Bulma and Paragus actually protested. But Goku says this would be good motivation for everyone. Broly has gotten a control in Super Saiyan already, and especially if he stays here to train a little longer, he'll definitely be able to defeat the androids. He did that in the future, so he should be able to do that here. Plus, with Goku around, they shouldn't be too much of an issue. Krillin honestly doesn't know if they should really be risking it, but eventually he's convinced too. Although it does make Goku realize one more thing. Maybe he should work with Gohan to train more. He had thought of this recently, but now he really should put that to the test. Seeing how strong the future version of Gohan was makes him think, how strong could Gohan be now if he actually was training this entire time? Looks like there's only one way to find out. And then Goku realizes, oh crap, he probably should have told the future Gohan to stay. Maybe present Gohan would have wanted to meet him. Well, at least he could see him in 3 years or so. That has to count for something at least. The first thing Goku does is go to Gohan to see what he thinks. And he actually does like the idea of training. He has trained a bit with Goku, but not nearly enough. And ever since he saw Goku go Super Saiyan, he kinda did want to see what that was like for himself, just out of curiosity. Obviously he's not gonna use it for fighting or anything, he just thinks it would be kinda cool to have, just to try out. Chi-Chi's a little bit more lax in this scenario because of everything that's gone different, especially because Gohan's had a normal upbringing and has gone to school. She still isn't really fond of Gohan being a fighter, but at least she's a little bit more lax, which means he can go with Goku. But before Goku starts training with Gohan, he's gonna have to work his way up first. He still hasn't really mastered the basics. But thankfully they have a lot of time. He'll start off by training with the humans, and then eventually he could train with Goku. And now with everything set into motion, the 3 years of training begins, and this is where we'll leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part, and what's gonna happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more parts of the series, or if you just want to help with the channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.